Are you planning to visit Yellowstone? These are 10 important things you should know before visiting this iconic national park. Keep watching to learn more and hear my insights about this destination, but first, opening sequence. Hello everyone, welcome back for an all-new National Parks Insights video. My name is Jeff Heyer and I'm an eco-travel content creator based here in Montana. I love making videos like this that help people get the most out of their travels in nature-focused destinations. I cover parks like Yellowstone, which is a place I frequent often. In this video, I'll be sharing 10 important things you should know before visiting this park. This info will be valuable to you, especially if it's your first time visiting. Knowing these things will help you make your journey smooth and enjoyable. Let's jump into it, starting with the first item on the list, which is park size. Yellowstone is massive. It spans over 2.2 million acres. It's important for you to understand the size of this place before going. Getting from one popular spot to another can take quite a bit of time, so it's important to plan your itinerary carefully, or at least realize that there's a lot you could cover. To truly experience the park, I recommend giving yourself about 3 to 5 days. If you've never been to the park before, let me help you get oriented with this map. You'll notice that Yellowstone is divided into different areas. We have the upper loop here, lower loop, and the grand loop. Then you'll also notice that the loops stem out to different entrances. For your reference, the upper loop here is 70 miles all the way around, so just traveling that loop can be a very full day of exploration. Understanding the size of this park is important because where you stay, your home base so to speak, will greatly influence your trip because this is going to be essentially your access point. Depending on how much you want to see, it can make sense to split your time between two different areas to cut down on drive times. Speaking of drive times, that's the second point I want to hit in this list. Yellowstone is a very busy park. It's one of the most visited national parks every year, and traffic can be a slow crawl, especially when wildlife shows up. Bison jams are a real thing, and with most roads being just 2 lanes, things can back up fast. Crowds at top attractions can also make parking tough during peak hours. What this means is that you might not be traveling within the park as fast as you might expect. When I say that the 70-mile upper loop might take you a full day of exploration, I really mean it. You will not be driving that distance nearly as fast as you would on a highway. And to make the park even bigger than it already is, do realize that there's a lot to explore in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem outside of the park entrances as well. To mention a few points of interest not inside the park, I always recommend people go check out the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center in West Yellowstone. And then there's also a lot of other cool attractions like the Yellowstone Hot Springs in Gardner. The takeaway here is to plan your timing wisely. Based on how long your trip is, set realistic expectations for how much you can cover. Over budgeting your time in each place will be better than under budgeting. Moving on, let's have a quick chat about safety around wildlife. Yellowstone is home to some incredible wild animals: bison, bears, wolves, elk, and more. While seeing them can be a highlight of your trip, it's important to keep a safe distance from them. Keep at least 25 yards away from all animals, especially bison that are notorious for goring people. Yes, goring people. You do not want to be gored by a bison, okay? Never approach or feed these wild animals, even if it may seem at first like it's safe to do so. Feeding wildlife or disturbing the ecosystem can be very dangerous, not just for you, but the animals too. There's actually a term out there called Turons. It's a combination of the word tourist and moron. You do not want to be a Turon. If you haven't heard this term before, there are full social media pages dedicated to Turons, and you do not want to be the next person featured on those pages. Please, please, please be a conscientious and thoughtful visitor. If you're planning to hike, always carry bear spray and know how to use it. Never leave food out unattended, and make sure to store it properly. At the end of the day, it's all about recreating responsibly. Respect the park, respect the wildlife, and help protect this place for everyone who comes after you. The next point I want to hit is that geothermal features are very dangerous. I don't want to scare you from going to Yellowstone. It is a mesmerizing place to visit, but these natural features are very dangerous if you get too close to them. This is a reminder that the Earth is very much alive in Yellowstone. This park has over 10,000 geothermal features, such as hot springs, geysers, and fumaroles. When you explore these features, stick to the designated trails and boardwalks. Seriously. Do you realize that the ground off of the boardwalk might not have support underneath it? Experiencing these natural wonders is meant to be observational, not immersive. All right, item number 5 is that cell service is quite limited in the park. Many areas of Yellowstone do not have reliable cell service or Wi-Fi, so don't count on your phones working. Plan accordingly, grab a map when you enter through the park gates, or otherwise download maps ahead of time. Just having a general sense of where you're going before entering the park will go a long way. Because cell service is really spotty and unreliable in Yellowstone, I highly recommend bringing along a guidebook like this one. This is packed with so much insider knowledge, information about hidden gems, and will overall help you get the most out of your time in Yellowstone. Plus, I'm one who loves a tangible guidebook. This is a very organic and authentic way to travel, and I use them and reference them all the time. I want to highlight this new book from Moon Travel Guides, which is actually the sponsor of this video. They recently updated their Yellowstone and Grand Teton guidebook. I've been using their books for years. I have a whole collection on my bookshelf. Yes, I do use these guidebooks even for places I live, even for Yellowstone, a place I visit often, because each time I look through it, I learn something new. And fun fact, I actually know the author personally, so I can vouch for how thoughtfully this book was put together. I had the chance to speak with Becky a few days ago to ask her about her experiences in Yellowstone. This is what she had to say. Becky, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Could you tell us how much time have you spent in Yellowstone researching for this book?
My life.
Yeah?
A lot.
Yeah.
You know, as I've been writing the books, I'm down there every year, if not twice a year, for hiking or backpacking or skiing.
And you actually brought your first ever guidebook today, which was worth 25 cents?
Yes, in 1902. My great-grandparents went to Yellowstone on their honeymoon, and this is the guidebook they brought for that trip. And it's pretty funny what it addresses. They actually had to ride a carriage pulled by horses, because that's all there was at that time in 1902. It was also pre-Park Service, so no National Park Service, because that wasn't until 1916. And it was Wild West country.
And I bet this is back when they were feeding bears in the bear counters.
Oh, golly. And they were going fishing and then cooking the fish in the hot pools.
And I just told the audience not to go close to the geothermal wonders.
Exactly.
Sorry, you were born in the wrong era. So this was your first point of inspiration for writing your books.
Sort of. You know, it was a family link is what it was. And I just have always gone to those two parks, Yellowstone and Grand Tetons, for everything. And then writing the book just ended up being an extension, except for I had to change my point of view. Because when you know a park and you're really familiar with everything in it, that's a different thing than helping first-timers understand what to do and how to do and what to expect and what they need to know ahead of time and all that kind of stuff. And so I really had to wrap my head around, okay, how do people experience this park? And that's why I've got Yellowstone divided into 3 sections, so it's centered around the places that you would stay, and then all of those things to do in each of those sections are in that particular chapter.
This video is about what should people know before visiting Yellowstone. There's a lot of things people should know. What are some things you want to add to that?
You know, the main thing is getting your reservations and getting them when they launch, because Yellowstone is such a popular park that a lot of the campsites are gone.
If people want to stay in the park or want to have help navigating that system, that's all included in this book.
Yes. Specifically for Yellowstone, it's got West Yellowstone and Gardner in those chapters, so you know if you can't get anything inside the park, you can go right to those border towns and find stuff.
Well, that's hugely helpful, because if you don't have a place to stay, you don't have a
You're
trip.
toast.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and sharing with us your new guidebook. If you're interested in getting your very own copy, I have a link in the description below. Check it out. Becky knows it better than anyone I've ever met, better than anyone I know. And thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the 6th thing you should know. You need a park pass to enter Yellowstone. These entrance fees are per vehicle, which covers you for 7 consecutive days. I've put the current fees up here on the screen for your reference. If you're planning to visit more than one national park this year, it might be worth getting an annual pass for all the national parks in the US. I've got one and it can save you money in the long run. To make things easy, if you want to get yours ahead of time, I've included a link to an annual pass in the description below. The seventh important thing you should know before visiting Yellowstone is that weather can be unpredictable. Yellowstone's weather can be all over the place, even within the same day. You'll want to be ready for sudden changes, rain, snow, high winds, you name it. And that's true no matter what season you visit. The key is to pack layers, including warm clothing, even in the summertime. Now, weather-wise, July, August, and September are going to be safe bets. Outside of those months, just be ready for anything. When I traveled there last fall, the first half of my trip was sunny and beautiful, and the second half? Total blizzard. By day 3, we were literally caught in a snowstorm. As for the best time to visit, there's honestly no single answer. It really depends on what kind of experience you're looking for. Summer is going to be the busiest, but you'll get warmer weather and full access to park services. Spring and fall are great if you want fewer crowds and stunning scenery, but the weather's more unpredictable. And winter by far is the quietest, but you won't have access to the full park. Moving on to number 8, limited dining and lodging options. When it comes to lodging in Yellowstone, options are limited. They fill up fast, especially during peak season. So if you're planning to stay inside the park, it's essential to book early. Even if you're not staying overnight, I definitely recommend packing snacks or even a cooler because restaurants can have long waits and food choices are pretty limited in some areas. This does depend on where in the park you're visiting exactly, but it's always good to be over-prepared. If you're hoping to camp, the best way to lock in a spot is to reserve one in advance through the official Yellowstone reservation system. Some campgrounds are super popular and can book up months ahead, so the earlier you plan, the better. Now, if you're more of a last-minute traveler, don't worry, there are a few first-come, first-served campgrounds, but those are going to be quite risky to snag. Number 9 is guided tours. If you want to skip the stress of self-driving and have all the travel logistics planned for you, I just want to make you aware that guided day tours are a great option to consider. They take care of all the logistics, help you spot wildlife you might miss on your own, and make the experience way more personalized and informative. There are some great options where you can join a group or request a private tour. Many of them will pick you up and drop you off right at your accommodations if requested. I've linked some great tour options in the description below, so check those out if you're interested. The last point I want to convey in this video, item number 10, is be a friend of the park. Do your part in preserving this ecosystem. Greater Yellowstone really is one of the largest and one of the most intact ecosystems in the world. So when you're visiting it, leave no trace, don't disturb wildlife, and be patient and kind to park staff. Administrative changes have been happening, and while we don't quite know the implications of this just yet, resources can run thin. There's a lot of pressure on the parks to operate, so let's cooperate and make their life easier. And that's the end of my list. Those were 10 important things you should know before visiting Yellowstone National Park. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget that I've included some helpful resource links in the description below for everything I talked about, including the guidebook I shared, park passes, and a few recommended tours. If you found this video helpful and want to see more videos like it, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching and safe travels to Yellowstone. I'll see you next time.